Hey friends, College Essay Guy here, talking today about mental health challenges and whether or not you should write about them in your college essay or application. First of all, it can be really tricky to write about this for a couple reasons. The first reason might actually surprise you, and it's that coming out of the pandemic, there's just been like a huge uptick, unfortunately, in anxiety and depression, and lots more students are writing about those things in their college applications. So when I talked to a college admission officer kind of recently, I was like, what are you seeing as a trend? And they're like, essays about anxiety. So that's the first reason. The second reason is that sometimes when a college admission officer is reading an application and the student is talking about mental health challenges, they might be worried that the school doesn't have the right resources to help that student thrive. So there could be a concern there, and it could raise like a yellow flag or even a red flag. So it can be challenging. But here's some questions that you can ask yourself if you're considering this. So number one, remember that the purpose of your personal statement and your college application is to demonstrate, as I like to say, the skills, qualities, values, and interests that you're going to bring with you to a college campus. So one question I like to ask is this the best way to do that? A related question might be something like, do I have any other topics that I could write on? Sometimes students go to this because this has been like a big challenge that's huge in their lives, and they think, well, this has been like so much in my world, I want to be authentically me, let me write about this. But oftentimes there are other amazing sides of you that could show your skills, qualities, values, and interests in maybe even more dynamic ways. Another question to ask yourself is, could this be explained in my additional information section? So good news, if you're wanting to write about this, you don't necessarily have to put mental health challenges in your personal statement. Now, this is a section you may or may not know about, but it's on the Common App, and you can basically put 650 words of kind of whatever you want there. So one of the things I'll ask students is, could you just bullet point briefly whatever the challenge and the effects were, 2, what you did about it, and 3, what you learned, and just explain that briefly? Then you can use your personal statement to talk about other things. Another good question to ask yourself is, are you through the challenge or are you still really in it? And one of the things we say at CG is we talk about this, about writing about your scars versus writing about your wounds. If you're through it and you can talk about what you've done and what you've learned, then that's more like a scar. If you're still very much in it, then that's more like a wound. Now, maybe you're watching this and you're like, I feel like I could write about mental health challenges, but I feel like it's gonna take a lot of energy and time, maybe time and energy that you don't have. Then I would say explore other topics. Watch the video below. You'll find 7 different ideas and an outline for how to work on those ideas. And then maybe it's that you find another topic that you like and you weave in challenges that you've experienced into a particular sentence or particular paragraph. So it doesn't have to dominate your essay, but you still bring that authentic part of who you are to the personal statement. Now, quick side note, I actually think writing about the stuff that you're going through and your challenges can actually be really good. And I want to separate like writing about your challenges in general from writing about challenges for your personal statement. So in other words, if you're, for example, in the challenge, I actually think it can be interesting and potentially productive to write about it, even if you don't end up using it for your personal statement. And here's a quick way to do that. And it's maybe not quick, but here's a quick explanation. Think about what were the challenges and effects that you've experienced. And if you want, you can just spend like 2 paragraphs writing what those are. That's kind of part 1. Part 2 is, what could you do about it? So it could be that you're like, I haven't done anything yet. Well, take a second to go, okay, based on the things that I've experienced, my challenges, what are my needs? What are the things that I feel like I really need that could help me work through these challenges? And if you need a little help with this, there's a video linked below called the Feelings and Needs exercise. Because once you can get a sense of what some of those needs are, then you can make a list in part 2 of like ideas, things that you could do to actually help meet your needs. Part 3 is the what I learned. Leave that part blank for now. This next step is the most important one. So once you've kind of spent a couple paragraphs talking about your challenges and the effects, and you've got this list of things that you could do to help meet your needs, then actually go and do some of those things. And the reason I think this is cool is that yes, it's gonna maybe give you stuff to write about later if you do decide to write about this, but I think more importantly, it's gonna be a way for you to actually get your needs met. Some people have called this like the 20-minute therapy exercise, but I found it can have some really cool results. And then you can kind of look at it and be like, do I wanna write about this or not so much? Okay, quick recap. Writing about mental health issues can be challenging. 1, because you might blend in with other students, and 2, because it may not be the best way to show your skills, qualities, values, and interests. If you do feel like writing about mental health challenges, you can totally put it in the additional info section with some bullet points. And number 3, if you're like just stressed out by this and you're like, this sounds like it's gonna be a lot of time and energy and I don't wanna write about mental health challenges. Challenges are not the holy grail of personal statement and college essay topics. You've got so much else you can write about. You are brilliant and beautiful and varied, and just spend a little time brainstorming other possibilities. You'll find the links below to the 7 personal statement ideas. Check out that video. It'll give you some great outlines. All right, friends, be well and talk soon.